Yet, I am confident that the things that are happening and changing, that we're going to get things done as long as we just keep going and not stopping.
Well, hello, I'm Russ Milheim from The Direct. Thank you for talking to me today. Congratulations on the movie. My first question is, how have your personal challenges that you faced within the industry changed and evolved since, when you started compared to where you are now?
It's been a long time. It's almost been 38 years since I've started. And I think the changes have happened. They're slowly and gradually happening. But I think it's because of me taking, a voice and saying this is what we need to do and this is what we shouldn't be doing, and making noise really from day one is how I approach it. And most times people have been listening to, other times people don't want to listen to, or they don't have the guts to listen to. They just want to take the easy route, or they want to keep using the same people over and over again. But I think today people are more aware of the issue of accessibility. I think that people are just more clued in. But there are still people who don't get it, because they're worried about ratings, or they're worried about box office. And yet I am confident that the things that are happening and changing, that we're going to get things done as long as we just keep going and not stopping.
Is there a type of role that you might not usually get but that you would really want to do in the future? You have your eyes set on anything?
I'm open. Roles and actors, I love a challenge. And I have yet played somebody who has an alcohol addiction. I'm up for any kind of challenge, so in general, really.
Last question. Why is now the perfect time for this film?
I think the times are perfect for this kind of film because there's no better time. American Masters approached me and said, do you want to do the show? And because I've been around for a while, and there are so many stories that have been waiting to be told, that I think it was perfect to put them all together in one package. So I think it was good, and it was just the perfect time for Shoshannah to put this together.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me, and congratulations. Now, my first question is just how have the personal challenges you faced in the industry changed and evolved since when you first started compared to where you are now?
Well, I feel that there's more unity in terms of telling what we actually need to see change in Hollywood. The topic of filmmaking is not just singular anymore. I think that is the biggest shift. I think now here on the red carpet we have Marlee, we have Shoshannah, we have friends that are actually here in town promoting his documentary also, other filmmakers. There's power in numbers. And I think we have that opportunity to share our experience, share information, what are the best practices, and I think that's the biggest change that has happened.
Why would you say that now is the perfect time for audiences to experience this movie?
I don't think now is. I think yesterday is the perfect time. But it's better now than never.
Yeah. Now I have to ask a quick unrelated question. You played Makari in Eternals, which I loved, by the way. We haven't seen that character since. So I wanted to know if Marvel has given you any hints about when we might see you next, because after all, the next Avengers film is starting up soon.
Well, not likely. I don't know, my magic 8 ball is telling me maybe not likely. We'll see.
Oh, man. Well, I'm crossing my fingers for you, but thank you again for talking with me.
Well, thank you.
Now, putting together and creating a documentary is a lot of work, and there's a lot of challenges. But what do you think was the most surprising challenge that you just didn't expect when you were getting it all done?
Well, I made a promise to myself that when I took this job and said yes, that I would direct for the very first time in my life, but I would never use the word challenge. And I would replace that word with opportunity. And I'm so happy that I did that, because when I started watching documentaries to prepare for doing this film, I was realizing, all documentaries out in the world have been about hearing people, directed by hearing people who use spoken English. And I am going to do a documentary about someone who communicates in American Sign Language. And I also communicate in American Sign Language, which is visual based. So how am I going to take the camera from the interview to like an archival piece and then have a voiceover on it? We can't do that. And so I thought, we have this really fun opportunity to see just what it would be like to reshape the form of documentary and just see what a visually based documentary would look like. And I made sure to find people. We call ourselves the Avengers. The Avengers assemble. And everyone saw it as well as an opportunity. And it was just magic. It was magical. I'm proud of it.
It's funny that you reference the Avengers. I have an unrelated question I wanted to ask you.
Great. That's my favorite.
Now, you wrote for Echo. And I wanted to ask, because the show, everyone thought that it was going to be 6 episodes beforehand, but then it was 5. And I wanted to know if it was ever the case that it was going to be 6 at any point.
I don't think so. I mean, I know what the 6 episodes were to look like, but I mean, all this happened after the writer's room. Production stuff happens. But I did feel like the story was, surprisingly enough, what we wanted it to be in the writer's room. It's really hard to shoot anything, even for Marvel. But I was really thrilled that the story was what we had created in the writer's room. What we wanted to see ended up on the screen.
I hope you get to go back for a season 2.
I mean, I'm the last to know, I think. You might know before me.
Yes. Well, thank you again, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
Piecing together a documentary is a lot of work. Getting it all together how you want it. What was the biggest surprise challenge that you just didn't really expect during the process?
I think from a producing standpoint, I underestimated, and because I had never really been around many deaf people in my life. Just hadn't happened. And so I was unprepared for all of the added thinking I had to do to make sure that all of our interviews, all of our shoots were as accessible as possible, that the playing field was super level. And what I learned and what Shoshannah taught me is that hearing people, those of us that can hear, we often need as much accessibility as deaf people. Like, in order for me to understand what was happening in the interview where Shoshannah was interviewing Marlee, I needed accessibility. I needed interpreters to tell me what was going on. And so we all benefit from accessibility in the world. And so that was something that I learned kind of on both a production level, but also like a deep human level.
Great answer. Same question?
Yeah.
I can talk about in the edit, having to work with ASL as our primary language, which is a visual language. It was a very different editing approach than I was used to. We had to come up with some creative solutions to make sure that it was always on screen and always accessible to the audience. So we have a lot of split screens in the film. We don't have any voiceover. We don't really have B-roll covering like you normally would edit. You would, to cover up some cuts. You'd
show a photo, show some home videos. It's a great crutch.
Yeah, but we did not do that in this film, and that was a huge challenge. But it makes for a different kind of viewing experience.
Why would you guys say now is the perfect time for audiences to experience this movie?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I would say now, always, because Marlee's story is timeless and should always be told. I think at this moment, right now in March 2025, the idea that services for people with disabilities, the idea that, inclusion is being kind of attacked in many ways at the highest level of government, a film like this that just shows that this incredible woman was paving the way and working so hard to create rights for everyone, like, that gives me hope, because she did that then, and so many of us need to keep doing that and carry the torch and keep going. And I'm just so inspired and hopeful from Marlee, and I think we could all use that right now.
Yeah, also, I just think making this film made me realize, like, just a little bit of shift in how we engage in the world would be so much more accessible to everybody. There were just like small things we could do, like captioning every film, you know, like, yeah, there's just ways that we can engage more with the deaf community as hearing people, that we can engage more, just with shifting a little bit about how we approach things.